Good morning. It's Thursday, July 7th, and as you may know, I'm doing a study on the book of Nehemiah in the Old Testament, and Nehemiah is called to build a wall in Jerusalem, or repair a wall in Jerusalem, and the Bible says that Nehemiah heard about the wall being broken and everyone being vulnerable, and it broke his heart, and so he prayed about it, and God set on his heart to help rebuild the wall. And what I love today from the study is that the whole book is about God calling you to do something, and him equipping you, and how when you're called to do something, it's a purpose given for you personally. And a lot of times I ask, well, what is my calling and what is my purpose? But I love something that the author said today. She said that a lot of times our calling is actually a need in our world that breaks our heart. And it's really, really interesting because in Bible study last night, we were talking about the book of Esther. And Esther was really, really beautiful. And the king of the time gathered up all the beautiful women for his harem, and decided to make one of them his wife. And Esther ended up becoming his wife and saving the Jewish people. But what I've never realized, and what our leaders were talking about yesterday, is that these women were taken away from their families and put in this harem of this king's women, and they were essentially sex slaves, because the king would sleep with one of them, and then they would go back to the harem, and so I was just thinking about, like, these are real people, and back in that age, you got married really early, so they could have been 11, 12, 13, 14-year-olds that were taken away from their families, and then they were in the harem for the rest of their lives, and their purpose was just for the king, for one moment. And kings had queens, but they still had their harem, so there was no faithfulness. And it really struck me last night, and I ended up crying because, I don't know, it just broke my heart. And I know there's sex trafficking all over the world, and even in our country today, and I just was so surprised to find myself feeling it so deeply and crying. And so the study is really interesting because this is a need, obviously, in our world, to fight this injustice. And I don't know why I had such a strong reaction, but I love the example. Nehemiah, something breaks his heart, and he prays about it, and then he feels led to do something, and he does it. And so I'm in that process of praying. This just happened last night, and so I'm excited to see what God's going to do with that, if anything. But I just love Nehemiah's example of going to God, and who knows if that will turn into a calling or a purpose, or maybe I can help out with resources, or I don't know. But I love that there are so many needs in our world, and so much brokenness and so much pain, but the things that break your heart may be what God is calling you to pray about and to help solve in this world. I do believe, and the Bible says that we all have such a purpose and a plan, and our hearts break for different things, and I think that's for a reason. And it's beautiful because we all can come together with our passions, and we can be a part of God's healing on this earth.